you.
And if someone's like, I'm a healing person and I need a safe space to be myself, how can they determine that a space is safe for that? We kind of talked about that in one of our episodes, but how can they determine that a clinical space is safe? Well, hello there, and welcome back to our last episode
Episode 8
of the
of season
Clinicians
1.
Table. Yes, season 1 of the Clinicians Table. Just in case you're just watching, hi, I'm your co-host, Drina Davis.
And I'm Tabitha Zor. Jerina and I talk about psychology and spirituality and how to integrate the two.
We do. That was very straight to the point. Okay, so in the episode right before this, we were talking about burnout and the importance of boundaries. And then we slowly started talking about balance. We started talking about like the spirit and the Holy Spirit and God and how that can help balance us out sometimes in our sessions. And we also slowly started talking about support because we were saying how when you work in private practice by yourself, it can be a little isolating.
We can.
Yeah. Yeah, and so in this episode, we're going to talk about friends. How many of us have them? No, but we're going to talk about community. I'm going to start busting down all types of songs on this last episode. But yeah, we're going to talk about the importance of community and how that helps with balance and the type of work that you're doing as a healer, as a clinician, as a clergy person, et cetera, et cetera. And so with that, when you hear balance, Tabitha, what do you envision? What do you feel? What do you sense?
You see those 3 rocks? that image of those 3 rocks that represents serenity. That's the image that came to my mind.
Really?
When you said balance. Because if we think about this, I'm going to make the analogy work, right?
Okay.
When you think about this, right, we have different things in life that we deal with, that we are in charge of. There's the the friend, there's the therapist, there is maybe the church member, there's the community organization member, there's different things, there's a mom, there's the wife, all of these things, right? And they are beautifully stacked on top of one another. And it's like none is overpowering the other one. I love that those stones are usually very well-rounded. They're not pretty much just kicking each other down, basically. So there's space for all of it, and then they can easily just stack on top of each other, just naturally. So when I think of balance, that's the image that does come to my mind.
And that's so funny when you explained that. I thought of like levels of capacity, like the one at the bottom is larger, and so it's able to hold the other ones at top and so forth, which I thought is really interesting. And being able to breathe, I think of breath. Being able to breathe.
It's a rhythm.
A rhythm, which we kind of touched a little bit in the episode before, contemplative rhythms, and that's when I started talking about Jesus, and I was like, wait, you start talking about Jesus, you forget. But I think when I think of balance, I think of a rhythm. I think of, I think of nature. How no matter how much as humans we try to mess up and impact nature, we don't try to, but we do. Nature is still going to nature.
Right.
Even around the things that we create.
When it's time for it to do what it does, it just does it.
It just does it. And I'm wondering, how can that work with clinicians or helping professions? Like creating a rhythm, not just by themselves, but I guess like an ecosystem. And so I kind of wanted us to talk very specifically. We touched on it briefly last time, but specifically the challenges of working by yourself and the benefits of being a part of a community.
Yeah, I think first few years, the first year specifically that I went, I got my license, I went into private practice. When you license, you actually don't need necessarily a supervisor. You don't need to have it according to the state, but it's recommended that you have one. So you tend to kind of like just go with the flow of things and zone in. You're building, you're doing all of it pretty much by yourself. And I think that's a dangerous place to be in, like just isolated like that as a clinician all by yourself, without having anyone that you are discussing cases with, that's checking on you. Because I was so focused on what it is that I was doing that I didn't think about community. I didn't think about like, okay, who do I need so that when I have a case that's difficult, that I can go to them, outside of God, basically.
Yeah. And so I'm thinking what I hear can go wrong are the challenges with working by yourself. Also, you don't have anyone to check in on you. And also you become your own, or you operate in a silo, but you become your own echo chamber.
Right.
You have no one to really like bounce ideas off of, or even say like, let's say you're talking about a session, somebody can hear something and go, "Ooh,
have you thought about this?"
Yeah, have you thought about this? Or that was kind of sharp. How did your client respond to that? What was happening with you when you did that? And I think by having that, it kind of helps you. Also, sometimes you kind of run out of ideas, and someone, like you said, have you thought of this? Someone can also just bring another perspective. Like, have you considered that this was what's happening with your client, or maybe asking this question? And it kind of just helps kind of broaden you in some ways, because even though you're not going into that session with all your supervisors or people that you work with, but you still have that, you have them behind you to kind of go to. And I think that creates some type of like mental alleviation of being all by yourself. I was thinking about, so we had a group called the Clinicians Corner.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of groups called the Clinicians Corner. So ours is just really small. It's a small, intimate, boutique style of support. And we were supporting one another regarding, I think, private practice and in cases and doing some goal things. And I really enjoyed it. I had a good time because you knew that you were checking in with people and you had a to-do list.
Yeah.
And so you would want to be accountable. And that's another benefit of being in community, accountability.
Yeah, accountability is needed for progress, because you can set a deadline for yourself, and then we break our word to ourselves so many times, and we don't even realize it. So having accountability helps us to stay on track with the things that we say that we're going to do. So like the business we say we're going to learn, so that we can become better clinicians, and also like the business side of things, so that we can meet those goals that we pretty much have set for ourselves.
And also reminding each other to rest.
Right.
I remember there was one session that we had where it was just like a check-in, like, how are we all feeling? Like, goals is very important. We need goals because that's how we continue momentum and keep moving forward. Otherwise, we get stagnant and then we end up going backwards. But then also, it's the idea of, how are you feeling? Because if you're not doing well, those goals can go somewhere else. Like, we need to know how your health is doing. And we found out that one of the people's, some things was happening with their house. Another one was going through postpartum. They just had a baby. And so trying to accomplish goals was not a priority. If anything, it just felt good for them to have a space to
just talk
and share what they've been going through. And that they left to actually feeling so much better. I think we still found a way to like try to do
transition.
This. Right. We still found a way to kind of create that into SMART goals. Not that everything has to be like productive in the sense of like doing and grinding, but just the idea of, okay, well, if you're going through postpartum, make sure you're resting because you're operating your solo practice too. So you need to make sure you rest. And what does it look like to have someone babysit the older kids and X, Y, and Z? Or this thing is happening with your house with this. Have you considered that? And being able to create avenues of like thought for someone who's like, I don't have any energy to think anymore. And I thought that was like really helpful when I think about like community.
Yeah, what I loved about that is that like certain spaces, they're about one thing and then they forget like the human side of things. They forget that people show up with so many things on their shoulders. And when you run a space like this, it can leave people feeling like, okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get the things. But what happens when the person can actually put into practice the goals and the things that you've discussed? Because there are so many things that are in the way. And I find that like with some spaces, because it's just focused on one thing, then the human gets lost. Like there's no space for you to show up as you are and say, hey, this is what's going on. And anybody has an idea of what I can do with this. But also I have this case. I have this client that I also need help with and stuff like that. So I think making space for the human is also very important in spaces.
Always important to make spaces for humans. Because humans need each other, whether we want to or not.
Yeah.
Even though we live in a system, in a world that's very hyper-independent and individualistic, there's something so beautiful about getting things done. You know what comes to mind when I think of like sisterhood? I think of you and some of your sisters. Oh my gosh. It's like a tribe of Azor women that like come together to make things happen. If Tabitha's having an event or anything that she's doing, you'll see them. It's so beautiful to watch of her being able to execute a goal or a plan and having these people behind her that happen to be her sisters supporting her along the way. I think it's just, I don't know, I think it gives you like an unspoken confidence knowing that I'm gonna have somebody's gonna help me and support me, and they will be there in their sweats, cooking, helping, setting up, and all the things. And it's a beautiful, well, I guess I'll let you talk about it. How is that, like having those people behind you, those people, your sisters?
Shout out to the Final Five. I'm part of the Final Five. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing to know, like even like this event that I'm planning for that's coming up. It's like so many, like one of my sisters is did the invitation and she did the cover. Another one of my sisters is like, okay, I got the food, and then Naomi's doing.
They're cooking?
Yeah, partly.
Part of it.
You know, they all coming together. Like one of them is looking for the violinists and musicians and all of these things that we need. And it feels like I'm not holding this by myself. It was overwhelming me. It was a lot because of the level of thing that I want to put together. But they all came in and be like, what do you need? What do I need to do? I'm going to take this piece off of you. I'm going to take that. I'm going to read this for you. And if it makes you feel less alone in what it is, because sometimes God gives you the vision, and then he sends the right people to be able to take one piece at a time so that you can be able to hold it. And I think it's the same, like in the work that we do, that yes, you are the one that is showing up for the clients and with them, but it's like your community, like you were saying, is in the background just holding you up, so that you can be able to show up as your best self, to show up with the right tools, to show up with the things that you may not have seen before. So I think that's important. Sisterhood, community, all of that is very important.
Yes, and with that, I want to shout out an old coworker, Shannon Shaw. She got me this T-shirt. She said she saw it and she thought of me. And it says, sisterhood is a form of therapy.
It is.
It is not therapy, but a form of therapy. Still have a therapist. Okay. But brotherhood too, right? I'm thinking about clergy.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you see things like scandals that are happening with like certain ministers, I like wonder, I'm like, did you have like an honest group of healthy brothers around you or sisters to like support you in whatever is happening?
Did anybody know that you were struggling with this?
Anybody? And I think that is detrimental because you're just operating by yourself. You probably have some shame. So now you're hiding the thing. That thing is growing in the dark. You have no one to help you with the burden of whatever it is that it is. And then it starts to leak out in the work that you do. And then other people get harmed. And then in other people getting harmed, then a system gets tainted, and here we are, right? And I think the same can happen in clinicians where, let's say you are doing integrating spirituality and all of that, but you're just operating by yourself. You lost connection with God because you're going through a season, which makes sense. There's
It
no shame in
happens.
that. It happens. But you don't have anyone to be like, I'm tired. Like, I can't pray. Like, the beauty of a community is to be able to say, hey, can you pray for me?
Or pray with me. Sometimes I just
Yeah.
agree with you and you pray and I listen to it and it encourages my spirit. Sometimes that's all it does. Sometimes that's enough. But some of us don't even have that because we are completely isolated and just dealing with things on our own and figuring out all these answers on our own, which it shouldn't be this way. I mean, biblically,
Communities.
community is necessary. I mean,
Necessary. A necessity.
yeah.
I think, community is a mandate.
I
Because when
would agree with
Yeshua
that.
said, love God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love
Your neighbor.
as you love yourself, not one neighbor, neighbors, which he talks about in the parable, that it's not just this one person that lives here, it's the people that are around you, to love them. And love them is to be in community with them, is to know them.
Right.
And also to allow yourself to be seen and witnessed. There's something so healing and beautiful to be seen and witnessed exactly as you are, flaws and all, right? That then allows for you to create spaces for other people to do the same. I am just so grateful for any spaces that I occupy that allows for me to be that, so I can continue being that for others, because I just know how important it is to be able to just be like, whoo, putting everything in the limelight. No things, creeping around, or no. Because it's so important, because you can get boggled down by that. And when we were talking about burning out, like that can be something that's burning at you, something that you're struggling with, and you're just like hiding it. You're taking so much energy hiding it that you don't even have energy to put towards something else. So it all kind of like flows into one another. And so I'm thinking about sustainability. What does sustainability look like in this work? Like, do we retire? Do we do this forever until we pass away? Maybe, you know what? I'm going to put that question on pause. Let's talk about calling, since that brought up. What is calling when it comes to helping and healing that doesn't lead to being a martyr?
So how do we do this work in a balanced way?
In a way that's sustainable. So I guess
Okay.
those both questions together. How do we pursue calling in a way that is sustainable and healthy without becoming a martyr?
Yeah, we have to go at the pace of God. I think that's one
What does that
thing.
mean, Tabitha?
Going
Because I know I'll be like, what that mean?
going at the pace of God. We want to move faster than we should. We want to move faster than we have the capacity for. One thing that I think I've learned over the past few years is not to expect too much out of a business that's like a baby or a toddler. Just have expectations based on where you are, as opposed to, because sometimes you see the big picture, you kind of like think, this is where I need to go, so I'm gonna do all of this work to get there tomorrow, as opposed to thinking that this is a process that I'm gonna build to, and it's gonna take me some time to get there. And when we do that, we exhaust ourselves. We think we're gonna do it with our own hands. Going at the pace of God means that we move according to the instructions that we receive until we get to the end destination. Because we can't miss it, because that's the end destination. And that's where we're supposed to end up. If God says that, that's where we're going to end up. So it takes a level, like, calling doesn't happen outside of God's guidance. It doesn't happen outside of what it is that He actually says to do. And when we go ahead of Him, we become too exhausted. We become burned out. We turn into the depressed. It's too much, man. This is too much for me in this moment. But I would say the first piece of calling is just pacing ourselves and aligning that pace to God's pace.
My brain is going to, because I think Yahweh is so expansive. So then I feel like it could look a lot of ways to different people.
Yeah.
What are some ways that are unorthodox, but that can still be the pace of God that creates sustainability?
Resting when you should be doing work.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think?
I see myself rolling down a hill. That's what I
Okay.
just saw. And I'm thinking play or delighting. I think that's a better term. Delighting. I think
We don't do that anymore.
we don't delight.
We don't.
And I think delight and wonderment with the child, it keeps them youthful and excitable and joyful.
Yeah.
And I think that understanding the expansiveness of God and operating at God's pace also seems like an invitation to also delight and be in wonderment.
To live, to enjoy things, to
Yes.
taste your coffee and smell the flowers and all of
Take your
these things.
time, yeah.
And we don't do that. We just rush, especially in New York, we rush through everything and we become robots. But why would God take his time and create nature that's so beautiful if we weren't meant to stop and just enjoy
And be in
the
it.
sunset,
Right.
and the sunrise,
Right.
and be fully present
Yes.
with the things that we're doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so when thinking of a sustainable lifestyle of healing, then yes, there's praying, there's listening to God, there's meditating, there's delightment, there's wonderment. And then I'm also like, oh wow, yeah. Okay, God. So it doesn't have to be martyrdom where it's always heavy. There's going to be trials and tribulations. We all know
absolutely.
that. But I don't think all of life is trials and tribulations, right?
not.
Like Jesus even went to a party and,
Jesus went to a party.
he went to a wedding. That's a
He
party.
did go to a party.
Jesus went to a wedding. They celebrate.
Yes.
Celebrate.
The
And then
Jews do dance. They
yes,
dance.
yes. And he was celebrating, and then he was like, "Let me put out this good old wine from these water jars." But yeah, and I think I don't know. There's just something beautiful where you can have a calling, and not be. The word compressed is coming up. Being compressed to the ideology of that calling, right? Like, oh, I'm a clergyman, so I'm supposed to have everything figured out, and I'm supposed to be like this with God. So I'm not going to talk to anybody about my issues because then they'll think that I'm not good at my job, or I'm a therapist. Why would I have another therapist? Or I'm this type of healer. Why would I have this? You know what I'm saying? And it's these messages that just hurts us so much. Versus, wait, how about I let go of the messages of these other humans and tap back into the creator that created me and experience the expansiveness of God, the spaciousness to, like you said, live, to experience nature. And what we said in the episode, I think prior to this, was the idea that nature will still nature no matter what. And I feel like humans are going to human no matter what, but what type of human do you want to be? And creating that no matter what happens, you're able to, I don't know, be rooted in some level of something. I don't know.
But that takes trust. Trust in God. Because when we work, we trust ourselves. We're like, I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to do it. But the pace of God is very different. Jesus, there's this picture that said Jesus walked. He could have come in a time where he could take a plane, or a time where they invented like faster trains that you could go at the speed of light and things like that. But he came
as
at
a political
time,
power.
yes, at a time where he had to walk everywhere. The only time he got on the donkey was when he entered Jerusalem.
That's true.
Outside of that, he walked. So
Oh gosh.
sometimes, and we're
did get
not
on the boat.
comfortable. He did. We're not comfortable with God's space. We're not, because we have an idea, even though the idea comes from God, we're like, oh, thank you. Thank you for that idea. We take it and we run with it. And we never go back to the one who gave the idea and say, how you want me to do this? Like, what's the pace for this season? Like, how is it that you want me, what part of it do you want me to work on now? And what is for later?
Yeah.
We don't go back to God and do that because we trust ourselves, and we don't actually fully trust him, not only with giving the idea, but actually like bringing it to pass from beginning to end, because we weren't supposed to just do things on our own. It's
Right.
supposed to be a collaboration all the way through.
Yeah.
That's why God gives us things in steps sometimes, and he doesn't give you the whole thing. He say, do this piece, and then he works with you, you do the piece, and then that next piece is next, because he knows that we are prone to just going and trusting ourselves as opposed to trusting him.
That's so
with our
funny.
work.
Because sometimes I get the vision first. And I'm like, well, until you tell me how this is going to happen, I'm just going to leave this vision right here. But I think it's me sharing it with others and saying, I have this vision.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go. Let's do this together. I wanted to talk about, I wanted to get back to this idea of the importance of community and, like you said, collaboration, and the reasons why we're afraid to, which is pride, or shame, which we talked about in another one. But I think there's something, the word confusion is coming up and tainting. Confusion and tainting, or maybe it's that confusion taints certain things, and by the tainting of this thing, it caused us to misread and mislabel. And then you said the idea of trusting God. But I think when working with other people, we want to trust the people that we work with as well.
Yeah.
And maybe we have a misplaced sense of trust. And because we have a misplaced sense of trust between human and God, we prefer to just trust ourselves. But we already discussed that in isolation or by yourself, you're just hearing yourself. So you have nobody to check in on you. And so that's dangerous too. And I'm like, oh gosh, like we actually really need one another.
We do.
We need one another. So let's talk about how can one find healthy community?
Well, first you have to determine what it is that you need, right?
I like that.
We don't all need the same thing. Where I am currently in my life, I need something very specific. I need places that will challenge my mind. I need places that will kind of like just move me towards the next step, as opposed to encouragement. Encouragement is good, but I can get that from my like regular friends when I do need it, or go read a scripture, or ask ChatGPT to write me an encouragement paragraph. I could do all of that, but like for me right now, what I need is more of accountability, more challenge. Like, all right, this is where you want to go. These are the steps. But you may be at a place where you need somebody to encourage you, to keep you accountable, and to help you. So the first, I think, thing is to determine like what is it that in this current season that you need in your life, and then you can start from there, and then start browsing out what's out there for you.
And if someone's like, I'm a healing person and I need a safe space to be myself, how can they determine that a space is safe for that? We kind of talked about that in one of our episodes, but how can they determine that a clinical space is safe? Because there may be a question that's asked and other clinicians will be like, oh my gosh, like, why would you say that or think that? That's so unethical. Or do you not read your bylaws, that can have that? How can someone find a community, a clergy community, a clinician community, a coaching community, whatever type of helping community, where it's not about performance, but it's about witnessing the human, as you talked about earlier?
Have you come across any of those?
Well, we created it.
Well, we had that. We did that with Clinicians Corner for a little while, but like even like with looking for spaces, I don't think I've actually come across a space that actually makes space for you as a human that is like that also helps with
Like accountability,
and
business.
and clinical stuff as well.
No, I haven't. I think I found places where it's very like high achieving women of color that I admire deeply, but something about it feels like I personally, and it could be my own insecurities, I would feel like I'm not measuring up to the levels of the group, and I can see myself because of that not benefiting from the group or just not wanting to go back. Yeah, so I know there's things like that exist, or there'll be groups that are Christian based, but it's not expansive enough for me as a human to bring in the certain things that my clients are going through or that I'm going through, because then it feels like it could be condemning or very limited in thought. So it's like a space that's really good for business, but then I'm like, I'm not on your
There's
level
no
yet, and I
space
feel
for your Christian
right.
side.
And then it's like space for your spirituality, religiosity, but it's not enough to contain my spiritual mos. What is it? Mosaic.
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 Is
Is
that
it
what you're trying to say?
mosaic? Mosaic. Like the
Mosaic.
myriad of It doesn't have that, and I'm like, so it's really hard to find like a really niched space for
Right.
that.
So we actually have to, look very carefully, right? And ask ourselves the right questions so that we can determine the space. And then if you work with clients and then you know that some of them are Christians and you want to have the tools and the capacity to be able to have a space to bring all of that, where all of you is welcome, right? The human side, the therapist side, the spiritual side, even the religious side, right? That you're gonna be witnessed to, that you're gonna be seen, that you're gonna be heard, and that you can bring all parts of you. I think those spaces are like the best ones for you to be looking for in this season.
Absolutely. And so I'm of the belief, because I'm trying to like do like a soft little like, and here we are. I'm going to just say it. They say that usually when it's a space that you see is a need and you feel really strongly about it, that it's your job to create it.
Right.
And so with that, Tabitha and I stopped the Clinicians Corner and kind of took a break, one, to just focus on our own stuff, and then also to kind of revamp of like, what is it that we actually want to do in a space that we want to cultivate. And we decided to invite y'all to the table.
Oh, come on to the table.
We want to invite y'all to the table and be a part of this clinical community where the things that we talk about here, we can talk about on a deeper level, that we can do case consultations. No question is a dumb question. You don't have to feel like, oh, well, I'm not at this top level of this, or I'm not the best Christian, or I'm not even Christian. I used to be Christian. Now I'm Buddhist. Okay, cool. Like, oh, I say cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you're welcomed. It's a space for people that are humans, that are healing other humans or supporting in the healing of other humans. And I think it's important that the type of work that we do, we are supported in a way that's really important. And so, yeah, I want to invite them to our table.
Yeah, yeah. Why is that space important to you?
That's a great question. Because I know that that's the space that I need. And I think I don't know, but being able to be seen as all parts of myself has been so freeing. Yes, by God, and that's amazing. I think once I realized that Yahweh is just amazing and beautiful and great and not human, like I knew it, but I didn't know it, I didn't understand it fully. I felt a freedom that, like I said, I think in one of the episodes, that God is like my safe space now. And so with my clients also being able to provide them with safe spaces, the levels of healing that they have, because they get to just be themselves. It's something that could just put the burden down of having to wear a mask. And if we're going to have people healing other people, I think it's important that the people that are doing the healing has those spaces too.
Right.
Where it's like you're not encouraging your clients indirectly to continue wearing a certain type of mask, but you're encouraging them to also be their true selves, because you're your true self and you have the space to be able to do that and be fully integrated and balanced and free.
Right.
And then if you found your freedom, then you can help set other people free. And I also feel like it's a way to reconcile yourself back to yourself so that you can be reconciled back to Creator who created you. This version of you that's out there may not be who Yahweh created you to be.
Right.
Because of the systems and all the other things that we talked about in all the other episodes that we had. And so at least this space will be a space where you can just come as you are.
And be encouraged to live and be encouraged to do the best work that you can do. Be encouraged to partner with God and the one that created you.
Be challenged.
Be challenged.
To think bigger.
So that you can become the type of healer that you need to be.
That this world needs us to be.
Right, right. And your clients will benefit from you putting yourself in that type of community because it makes a difference when you can actually show up as your full self. Then you give other people permission to do the same. And so many times your clients need that permission to be said explicit, to be made explicit for them. That it's okay, this part of you is welcomed here. And sometimes it's easier to extend it if you have allowed that truth to be solidified inside.
You know what? Thank you for saying that. Because I remember I'm thinking of 2 clients, maybe 3, that told me, thank you for giving me permission. And I was like, well, you don't need permission, you know? I was like, you don't need permission. And they were like, I know I don't need permission, but based off the things that I've gone through, I don't fully understand that I don't need permission. So hearing you say, oh, this emotion is validated, or you get to do this, or da-da-da-da. They was like, it validated my experience and gave me the permission to experience the emotions that I was experiencing from this experience that I was having. And so I like the fact that you said permission, because sometimes you may need to hear it.
You do.
Like in this space, you are permitted and invited to be your full self. You get to ask the questions. You get to say, I don't know. You just get to just be.
Yeah.
And that's it's just such a beautiful thing. It's so tough out there, you know?
It is, especially like as clinicians and people who are serving others.
Yeah.
Because most of us don't have somebody who understands fully the work that we're doing. And when they say, oh, I get it, like they actually get it. They actually understand, oh, like I've gone through this last week. Like this happened to me the other day. So having somebody understand your actual experience and say, oh, yeah, I dealt with this last month. This is what I did and that worked. And having that space is more precious than gold, because then you're less isolated. You can have more capacity for your clients. You can find balance in your life altogether to be able to just take care of yourself and better take care of the people that God entrusted you with, basically.
Yes. And so with that, I just want to thank you all for watching, even if this is your first time.
For listening, watching, wherever you're catching this podcast.
Yes. We're more fun if you watch us, though.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you for taking your time to listen to us, to watch and listen to us. Just thank you for the comments in the comment section. And yeah. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, when is the launch date?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
She's more of our business person. I think it's
March 13th.
March 13th.
March 13th is when we're going to get started. So use all of the information that will be in the description box, that will be wherever you're watching. Just find the information where the text lives, and you will be able to sign up for it. Go to the landing page, read more about it, see if it's aligned with you. Send it to a clinician that you know needs a space like this, where you can just come in and talk about spirituality, talk about like all of the various things that show up in the clinical world, being able to integrate spirituality with the therapy, being witnessed to, being kept accountable. Any clinician that you know has been struggling with burnout, has been struggling with all of these things, just direct them to the landing page where they will be able to register for Clinicians Table. And we are looking forward to having you join us at the table where you will heal, you will be witnessed to, and you will be kept accountable so that you can grow and become the clinician and healer that you're meant to be.
Yes, I am feeling a question. I'm feeling it. Do I have to be a clinician in order to join this space?
No.
Like if they were a counselor,
No, not necessarily.
if they were a coach.
No, not necessarily. They don't need to be a clinician specifically.
Another question. What was that? The next
Who's
question.
asking? Is it love? No.
No, I think it's right there. I think I know. Like, love, are you asking? No, but the question is, do they have to be Christian?
No. We want to make sure that this is going to be beneficial to you, so that you can actually benefit from it. We don't want to just take your money or whatever and then you come here and you don't get what you need. We want to be clear from the get-go what it is that you're looking for, so that we can be able to actually support you in the way that you need to be supported. So
Yes.
there will be a screening process, so be ready for that.
Yes. And so with that, this is the final countdown. This is the final, I know. This is our last episode of season 1. Thank you so much. And if you're just finding us now, go back and watch watch some other ones of us. And these questions keep coming in. Are we going to have a season 2? Stay tuned.
You'll find out soon.
You'll find out.
All
Well, with that, this is the Clinicians Table. I am your co-host, Jarena Davis.
And I'm Tabitha Zor. It was so, so good to be with you during the season.
Yes.
And we'll keep you posted on anything.
Ciao, so long, farewell to you, my friend.
That's it.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Clinicians Table. For more conversations like this, subscribe to our YouTube channel or listen wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time.